What's up, everyone? Welcome to a very special Monday edition of Who's Number One. Swatched around the schedule just a bit there because Michael Sears will be traveling back from Brazil this Wednesday during our normal scheduled broadcast. So, welcome to the show. Joining me today is Ryan Smith here on my right, Michael Sears there, calling down from Rio, and of course from the great north, Ricardo Amendolia, Jiu-Jitsu's voice, the expert. Welcome to the show, guys. How's everyone feeling today on this beautiful Monday afternoon?
Feeling good, man. Good to be back.
We
Nice like you in Rio, but all is good. All is good. Ready to get things going.
Michael, you were down at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I know you're on vacation there, but what were you at this weekend? What were you doing down there?
Oh no, I was just at a local FJJD Rio or something, just seeing some people I know compete, but just a little small tournament, just watching some of my friends compete. It was sort of cool though. It was in the Olympic one of the buildings that they use for the Olympics in Rio. So they're
same situation as the AJP Tour then, right? They have those.
Yeah, but it was in a different one though. This one was in they call it a velodrome. I don't know. It's for people they roller skate on the side of it or something. I don't know what sport they do in it, but it's it's pretty cool.
Very
Michael,
nice.
I got a question. Sorry, I got to interrupt. I got a question for you. Sorry, Chase. And Chase, you've been to Brazil too, so this question pertains to you as well. But Michael, I feel that when you're at a tournament, a jiu-jitsu tournament in Brazil, the energy, the vibe is a little different than North American tournaments. Would you agree or disagree, or is it just my perception or kind of favoritism over the Brazilian events?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. It's the energy is a whole nother level for sure. Especially Brasileiro is probably the ultimate one, right? You just walk into Brasileiro and it's you're at the Coliseum when there's gladiators fighting, just the crowd's going wild. There's all these chants going and everything, and people yelling all over the place. It's a whole nother level of energy at tournaments in Brazil. I would agree. People are a little bit more conserved in Europe and North America.
How many times did you hear the word porrada or porra or boa during yesterday's competition?
Yeah, usually, hey, que isso, juiz? Cima não quer lutar, juiz.
Sai fora, juiz.
Yeah. No, professor, no. Yeah, all that stuff, yeah.
Let's bring it back here, folks. We got a couple updates about the Who's Number One show coming up. We have a date slated there for February, I believe. February 8th, is that the date there, Michael?
February 8th, Costa Mesa, California, and actually the link to buy tickets is already up. We haven't announced the black belt super fight yet, but we have 12 color belt fights with top-ranked color belts, some of the best in the world. And so FloGrappling Tix, T-I-X. So FloGrapplingTix.com. You can go there and start buying tickets. You select one of the fighters, and they'll get a percentage fight to win style. So yeah, tickets are already available. So if you're going to Kids Pans or you're just living in Southern California, and we're gonna have some big-time black belt fights to top it off. Those haven't been announced, but they're coming.
Yeah, very exciting times. Everything we've done is leading up to this show with Who's Number One. We're very excited to give a showcase event to the up-and-coming belts, as well as, of course, the black belt main event or co-main event matches that will be still to be announced. But let's move right along here. It was a busy weekend in jiu-jitsu. We saw a couple of promotions of some key athletes. The number one pound-for-pound purple belt, Pedro Machado, has joined the brown belt ranks. Very exciting stuff there. Michael, where would you rank him? It's always a difficult question when someone leaves their current rank and jumps up to the next belt level. He's the number one guy at purple belt. What does that mean for his situation there at that brown belt level?
Usually, when people go to black belt, I don't even rank them until they start having wins at black belt. But it's easy, moving from purple to brown belt, it's easy to slide them in because, most of the brown belts were in the same division as Pedro earlier this year. They've all been competing against each other. So I usually don't put them in pound for pound right away. He was number one pound for pound at purple. I'll wait a little bit on that. But I slid him in at medium heavy brown belt, number 5 or something, I believe. I'll have to look it up right now. But medium heavy brown belt is pretty stacked. You got Conor D'Angelis, Giancarlo Bodoni, Lucas Lisboa. There's some really good guys in there, but
hey,
yeah,
Caleb, I think we've got a clip here of Pedro before we get too carried away. Let's run that and showcase some of his stuff here. Sorry, Michael, go on.
Yeah, you see Pedro. He's got a killer collar sleeve game. He beat if you remember, he beat Anderson Muniz at Brasileiro this year. He beat Jansen Gomez at Worlds this year. He beat some really good people, and he's got a real good collar sleeve omoplata game right there, sweeping Jansen with it, and he really works that collar sleeve. But he's also just super athletic and really forces back takes off of scrambles and everything. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to make a big mark at brown belt. If you remember, he won the blue belt open class at Worlds last year. At purple belt, he won a whole bunch of stuff. This guy's he's a monster for sure.
Yeah, he's super fun to watch, and for me, it's just validation of the idea that purple belt might be one of the most exciting divisions there is in jiu-jitsu. I feel like people have such defined games. They're very, very talented, but there's still a little bit of openness that's not present there at the black belt level. Ricardo, am I on the right track there? Are these prospects maybe the reason they're so exciting is they're not quite as polished as some of the more veteran players of the game?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that they've, usually when you see somebody at the highest level at purple belt, their game is very similar, if not the same, at black belt. And especially at purple belt, they're really trying to make a name for themselves. So you're going to see a lot more aggressiveness. Their game, changes so much from there to the highest level black belt. Black belt, they tend to kind of calm down. But purple and brown is where, look at Roberto Jimenez, a guy like that stands out, just so aggressive and super fast. But again, it'd be interesting to see Roberto at black belt. Does he keep that pace or does he kind of slow it down? So purple belt's always exciting to watch. Some of the most exciting matches at any tournament you go to. So you're pretty accurate with that description there.
Very nice. That leads us right into our next promotion here. We have number 2 pound for pound juvenile blue belt, Diogo Reyes, has been promoted to purple. And for me, I remember seeing this kid compete alongside Mikel Galvão. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but they're teammates or they're friends at least. And Mikel gets all the shine, but this kid is slaughtering everyone else as well. Very, very exciting stuff there. Michael, what do you know about Diogo here?
Yeah, you're right. He's one of Mikel's teammates at Melky Galvão School. He's a Dream Art Manaus guy. And both of them, Mikel is probably the bigger name, but both of them did double Grand Slam at Juvenile last year. So Diogo was Juvenile 2, Mikel was Juvenile 1, so he's going to be going to adult now. So he won weight and absolute at all the major tournaments. Now he's going into the adult purple belt rooster weight division. This guy, he told me he went 130-4 at blue belt, basically. So had 134 matches. He only lost 4 of them, a couple of them in the absolute. One time, I guess, was to Gabriel Souza for some reason, who he fought as a juvenile blue belt when he was a brown belt. But, this kid's a killer. He's about what you expect out of, a new age kid coming out of Brazil, really good back takes, Barambola stuff. But he's got good arm drags and collar drags, too, that he gets used to get to the back. And, if you just look up at his matches in the full library from 2019, he's just been murdering everybody at juvenile. It'll be really interesting to see him at adult now and see how he does at the higher levels.
Yeah, we usually see a wave of promotion after the World Championships there in June. A lot of guys get the new belts then, but there's also the second wave of the year ahead of the new season. The Europeans is on around the corner here in 2020 there at the end of January, so I can't wait to see all these new belts in action there. Diogo Reyes being one of the most exciting young players in the game. But now that we've got a little bit of previewing out of the way, it might be time for us to recap some of the more important events of the weekend. Polaris had another show, pretty fun event there. Nicky Rodriguez took on Luke Rockhold there in the main event. That went to decision. What do you guys think of that match? It's a little bit stagnant, I think. It wasn't quite the Nicky Rod of old, or I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way.
Yeah, I was expecting more fireworks from that match for sure. I think that it kind of shows, Nicky Rod's level of jiu-jitsu. I kind of expected them to go to the ground and see more jiu-jitsu. It just kind of looked like aggressive collar ties for the majority of the match.
Yeah, it's a tough match when guys are evenly paced and no one wants to get submitted. It's a submission-only match there at Polaris. And so playing conservatively sometimes make sure there's no definitive loss for either player. Did you guys pay attention to any of that? See any other key results there? There's some fun matches. We saw Tommy Langyacker. Espen had a great match. Devontae. Ricardo, what about you?
Yeah, I saw Michelle Nicolini rip a foot off and take that home to Brazil. She had a vicious toe hold that, I posted this on my social media earlier, but it's always refreshing to see Michelle compete because she just goes for broke. She's a true submission hunter, and she had an amazing toe hold. I really thought she was going to rip the foot of her opponent right off, so that was pretty vicious. And it was cool to see Tommy and Dorino. That was a really, really tight match, and Tommy got a little said a little something on the mic after some shots fired to Gabriel Arges after a little interview with Gabriel at Spider. So that was
spice
interesting.
coming off of Polaris there. You know,
you were on the ground for that. What did he say?
Yeah. Just so for you, those of you that might have missed the Gabriel interview that we did in Seoul, Korea, ahead of Spider, Gabriel maybe a little bit feisty because he's cutting a lot of weight, but he called out, or not called out, but he referenced Tommy and Espen Mathiesen, teammates, for being, I don't want to put words in Gabriel's mouth, but one-hit wonders, or guys who did really well at one event or two events, but had yet to make a mark like Gabriel has as a two-time world champion. And that, of course, pissed Tommy off something royal, and he bided his time. And after impressive showing and win at Polaris, he called out Gabriel, saying, give me that match. You've been ducking me. And to me, this is the kind of trash talk that I like. 'Cause it's not really trash talk. It's two guys that are game and that want to prove something. And it's not personal in the sense where they're not attacking each other outside of jiu-jitsu skills. They want to settle the matter on the mats. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see that match happen again. It was cut short last time with the DQ loss being handed out to Gabriel. And I would love to see that one play out again.
No.
Tommy also said that. Sorry to interrupt, but Tommy also said that Keenan is ducking him. So,
oh boy,
very interesting.
Michael, what was on your mind there?
I wouldn't really say that match was cut short necessarily. I think it was a fair DQ. I mean, he had the choke on when he went out of bounds. It was basically a submission. But I'd love to see him run it back. I unfortunately wasn't able to watch this match. I'm down in Brazil where Fight Pass is blocked out. I had no idea. So I all I've seen so far was that crazy back take by Espen. I saw a little clip on Instagram. How did some of these other matches, how did Devontae look? I think there was a nasty armbar I heard in the Ashley Williams match.
Ashley Williams and Alacron. Did anybody get to see that? Did you see that, Ricardo?
Missed that one, but saw a little bit of Devontae. Very aggressive. Always fun to watch Devontae compete.
Yeah, Devontae won by decision there, and Ashley Williams armbarred Richard Alacron pretty badly, hoping that it wasn't as vicious as it looked there on the stream. But, these things happen in our sport. But overall, another great show from Polaris, and looking forward to see some of these guys back in action again, which takes us to Third Coast Grappling happening this weekend, December 7th.
Don't forget about another piece of news: the announcement of the AJP Queen of Mats, the heavyweight.
Queen of Mats. I almost got ahead of myself. So the AJP Tour is back in action early in 2020, coming off of their Rio Grand Slam. They're going back to Abu Dhabi, and there's another Queen of Mats. Ricardo, what can you tell me about the next Queen of Mats edition coming up here?
Yeah, so the Queen of Mats, it'll be the heavyweight division, and 6 athletes have been chosen. I'm going to list off the names that have been announced so far. Samantha Cook, Natiele Jesus, Kenda Rusing, Gabrielle Pisania, Tamara Silva, and Ana Carolina Vieira. So, stacked division. It's always great to see, equality and equal prize money for men and women. And that's something that I learned this morning. For the King of Mats and the Queen of Mats, they get generally the same amount of prize money being offered. So each competitor gets $2,000. And then what's interesting about this is however amount of competitors are in the division, that's what the prize money is going to be additionally. So there's going to be $6,000 up for grabs plus the 2. So the winner gets $8,000. So it's a really nice initiative by the AJP Tour. I really hope to see the female jiu-jitsu community, show some support and, share this event and get out there. And, we see a lot of talk about some of the negativity towards the equality. Let's start pushing the positive stuff in the sport and the people that are, making the progressive steps forward and sharing the good stuff as opposed to just talking about the bad stuff. So hopefully we see a lot about that. But looking at the division itself, awesome. Some of the favorites of female jiu-jitsu, Gabrielle Pisania, she's on a tear. Tamara Silva, I call her the queen of the arm lock. Kendo Ryusing, Gracie Baja, Natiele Jesus, Ana Carolina, of course, just stacked from head to toe. So I can't wait to see that event.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Michael. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No problem. I think when you look at this one, it's sort of like the 100-kilogram division at Spider and the implications for it with the rankings. When you look at the girls who are in here, it's like you get 3 of the top 5 pound-for-pound girls. And I'll tell you right now, Nachielli's number 1 pound-for-pound at female. Gabby Pisania is number 3, and Ana Carolina is number 5. And Gabby Pisania has beaten Nachielli a couple times when she was a brown belt, remember? I just have Gabby ranked a little low because she hasn't won any black belt like open classes or anything. She's a new black belt. But I mean, I think it's sort of similar to the 100-kilogram bracket at Spider, where whoever comes out of this is going to be the female number one pound for pound, right? I mean, if Gabby Pisani goes there and beats Baby and beats Naccielli, or if Baby goes there and beats both of them, I mean, yeah, I think either Naccielli's going to retain it or there's going to be a new top pound for pound there for sure. Has
Gabby Pisani ever faced Anna Carolina? Is that match hasn't happened yet, has it?
No, because they don't have open classes at the AJP stuff, so she would always just fight Naccielli in her weight.
Got it. Because that is a very intriguing matchup there. Looking forward to seeing Pisania really make a name there in the black belt ranks after having such a stellar brown belt career. So yeah, big ups to the AJP Tour for putting out there for the women and putting on a great show. There'll also be the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam with a more updated entry list coming shortly, as that event's still a couple months out. So stay tuned for more news about that, but very excited to see the Queen of Mats Tour build some momentum, as the King of Mats has already done quite well for those guys. Mm-hmm. But now I think it's time to discuss Third Coast Grappling, that's a big event coming up this weekend, December 7th. We're going to have the return of Gordon Ryan taking on American wrestling legend Bo Nickal. I think we have a clip here, Caleb. This is like Bo Nickal here in action. As you can see, he's one of the best wrestlers today. Michael, what can you tell me about Bo Nickal here?
He's just, one of the highest level wrestlers in America right now. He's a three-time NCAA champ, went, I believe, 120-3 with 60 pins at Penn State. Won the Hodge Trophy, which is similar to like the Heisman Trophy. It's, one person gets like the MVP of the season in college wrestling, and now he's on the international level. He didn't make the senior team for USA this year, but I believe he lost to Jaden Cox at the trials, but he wrestled on our under-23 team and won Worlds Freestyle for under-23. So extremely high-level wrestler, high-level athlete. I mean, really, really exciting wrestler. He's not like a counter wrestler. He's not like a guy that would always win in overtime. Like there's NCAA champs who still every match is close or whatever. Like he was just going out there toying with guys, pinning everybody, doing basically whatever he wanted. He's really exciting, and I know he's going to bring it. It's going to be a fun match to watch for sure.
Ricardo, this is not the very first time we've seen a wrestler versus jiu-jitsu stylist, but maybe the most extreme example I can think of is Bo Nickal is definitely not a submission grappler. He's just a straight-up wrestler. What can you tell me about this clash of styles present this weekend here?
I mean, okay, let's look at the basics of it, right? It's not sub only, so we know that he's not going to submit Gordon. Very, very unlikely, unless he pulls off a Matt Hughes, Ricardo Almeida front headlock joke, 1 in a million. But I mean, when there's points and he can take Gordon down, which theoretically he should be able to do at ease. I mean, can he disengage enough where he's not getting penalized? Can he stay in the pocket? Can he play a game like Rustam does, where he stays just close enough to put enough pressure, but not close enough to be in danger from the bottom? So, anything can happen. We've seen wrestlers do pretty good in ADCC. Generally, they're cross-training with other jiu-jitsu guys or mixed martial artists. But from what I understand, Bo Nickal's been training at American Top Team. So you never know. I mean, anything could happen. But if I had to put some money down, I think it would be on Gordon for getting the win on this one with triangle, arm lock, or something. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I think it's Gordon's to win. I mean, obviously, Bo taking Gordon down, he's going right into Gordon's strong, position. So we'll see what happens. Should be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, quick rules recap for those of you who don't know. There is no guard pulling. Gordon cannot pull guard, but and there's no leg locks. So Gordon is somewhat limited there. But Bo has to engage Gordon on the ground. So if he does take down Gordon, which we can assume will happen, he has to attack Gordon while Gordon's playing guard, which is pretty difficult scenario if you're not used to passing. I mean, you don't really see anything like that in wrestling. And I would have to say that gives Gordon a pretty strong advantage. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I just sat down with FloGrappling, and one of the interesting things that they taught me about Bo Nickal was the coach there, Chael Sanderson. David said that in the past 10 years, 30% of all the finalists have been from Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State has one of the strongest programs in wrestling. I'm by no means an expert. you definitely see those names coming back again and again. But they also have, I think, some of the weirdest wrestling. Like there's a lot of jiu-jitsu influence there. I think even one of the assistant coaches, from what I understand, is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So maybe they see some weird looks there. I don't know, but you have to think Bo's well prepared for any case. For
sure. And bringing it back to your question, how I think it's going to play out. I think, with the rule set of them taking away leg locks, after going into some of Gordon's stats, 32% of all the submissions that he has is from the rear naked choke. So, I don't think it's going to limit Gordon that much. I think it's back to what you were saying, can Bo disengage? Can he take down Gordon enough? Can he get up on points? Or is Gordon ultimately going to take his back and submit him?
Michael, what even weighed in yet?
I don't really get everybody is still obsessed about this leg lock thing with Gordon when he's clearly, taking the back and getting the RNC or the rear naked strangle, as they like to call it, is clearly his bread and butter. So I don't think taking the leg locks away hurts him that much. I don't think he would even really try to go out there and just get an easy heel hook on Bo. I think he would try and win this one, dominate positionally. And going back to what you were saying, Chase, about Penn State. About their they a lot of their guys have a very sort of flashy style. Like if you watch the video I did with Wrestling Nomad, he's talking about Jason Nolf about how he uses like something called the Win Dixie to get back points. It's basically like a reverse triangle. He gets off the shot and puts people on their back. So it's very jiu-jitsu looking. But this is going to be interesting because Bo is this is not. Bo's, he's elite. He's high level. This is not just any wrestler going out there. This is he hasn't made an Olympic team yet, but he's not that level of athlete. So, he's going to be hard to sweep. He's going to be hard to hold down or control. I'm very interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think the worst case scenario that we're all praying doesn't happen, which I don't think will, is that Bo takes down Gordon and then plays at a distance and doesn't really engage, and Gordon can't really get close enough to play much of a guard. That's the nightmare scenario. But I think, Bo's clearly in this for a good time. I think Bo wants to test himself. He doesn't have much to gain outside of. Even if he beats Gordon, no one in wrestling would really care either. They just go about their lives. So I think for him, this is just a unique challenge. And I'm really hoping he tries something crazy out there. But moving right along there, more than one match on that card. We also have the return of Homolo taking on Jake Shields. That is a great match. I'm very excited to see Homolo back in action. He's only had one match this year so far at Kasai. Who else is pumped to see Homolo again?
I definitely am. We've only seen him once this year. He competed in no-gi, but even though he's been out of competition for a little bit, he looked great.
Ricardo, how do you see this match stacking up, man? How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think all around, I think Homolo's the better grappler. As when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I think obviously Shields has a little bit, I don't want to say stronger wrestling, but I think what I would say is he's more so known as a top player than Homolo. Homolo is, obviously well known in the gi as an amazing spider guard player. But I think when it comes to just pure jiu-jitsu, I think Homolo's got the advantage, and I think he's doing his homework, training with guys like Jake and Harmon, and even his own students like Adwed and Gabrielle to prepare for this the right way. So I can't wait to see it. I think it's a cool match, but if I had to make some prediction, I think Homolo's got a bit of an advantage on this one.
Michael, what about you?
I'd have to agree with you there. This is different rules. This is IBJJF rules with heel hooks, basically, and overtime or whatever tech calls. But do you think they go out there and wrestle each other, Ricardo, or do you think one of them's going to sit guard? Do you think they're going to fight for the top position?
Well, is there a negative if Homolo pulls?
No, you can just pull.
Nope.
You can just go out there and IBJJF rules for this one, basically, with heel hooks.
Yeah, so which by the way I think is is an amazing rule set. IBJJF with heel hooks is the way to go. If that's the case, I think we're gonna see Homolo engage Jake on the stand up for a few minutes, maybe midway if he feels like he can't take him down. He's gonna pull, look for a leg, possibly sweep or submission. That's kind of what I see happening. If Jake gets the takedown, he's gonna try to really dominate from that, knee cut position, solid head and arm control. That's kind of how I see it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Homolo pull and try to get a sweep or submission from the back for sure.
I want to hear some predictions, folks.
Hold on. Do you know like that last video? That last video was like a lot of Jake training at Danaher's. We know he trains there a lot. Is he based out of there full time, or is he back in California? Do you guys know like if that's where he's training usually now?
I don't have a definitive answer, but I do believe he spends a majority of his time out there in NYC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see how quickly people progress there. Obviously, Jake's a veteran, but I mean, you know, he's learning rapidly there. His no-gi game, if he's training there regularly in New York with those guys, his leg lock game's got to be on another level. Just about all around, like we were talking about with their back takes and their back control. I mean, they got great guillotines coming out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake could pull the upset here. But yeah, I have to agree with Ricardo that Hamilo's the heavy favorite. I'd pick Hamilo going into this one. That would be my pick for sure.
Man, I don't know about that. You know, Hamilo is a legend and one of my favorite guys to watch, but I feel like Jake Shields is a bit more active, and once he gets on top, it is very difficult to do anything to Jake Shields. So I think if Hamilo does end up pulling guard, that could be tough for him to actually move Jake Shields in a positive direction, and I could see Jake maybe even getting the pass. It's a tall order, don't get me wrong. Hamilo is one of the best to ever do it, but I don't know. Jake is so difficult to touch.
And one other thing, guys, don't be surprised if you see Jake Shields go for a heel hook. If you remember the Muscle Farm Submit Cancer event we had a few years ago live on FloGrappling Archives, check it out, guys. Jake submitted Lyoto Machida with a nice heel hook. So never know, he could be attacking Hamilo's legs. Mm-hmm. We shall see.
Ryan, where do you stand on the issue here?
I'm looking at Jake's previous matches. I mean, I'm seeing a win with Murillo, with Gilbert Burns, Kit Dale. I mean, he also had matches with Craig Jones, Rafael Lovato. So, you know, I think Jake's ready for this one, you know, especially training out of Danaher's camp. I think we can expect him to attack heel hooks pretty strong. So, ultimately, I think Hamilo has a leg up, but I think it's going to be a great one.
So then we're split pretty down the middle here. We have half you guys voting for Hamilo, and in the studio we have Jake Shields. We'll see how that one plays out.
I have a tiebreaker here. Vinicius Agudo in the comments is taking Hamilo. He says he's trained with both of them. He's taking Hamilo. There's our tiebreaker.
Very nice. Vinny is definitely a legend there. Shout out to Vinny for tuning in as a regular viewer. The last big match we want to talk about from Third Coast Grappling is Dorino, that's Gilbert Burns, versus Edwin Najmi. I think we have another asset there we can play for this one. Dorino, we just talked about him minutes earlier, coming off of a decision loss to Tommy Langacker at Polaris. Mm-hmm. Man, that guy is one of the most active combat sports athletes, if not the most. A tip of the hat to Gilbert Burns for just being game as hell for basically anything. I love that dude. Mm-hmm. He's a wild man.
Yeah, Gilbert, one of my favorite all-time combat athletes. He's not afraid to do anything. Gi, no-gi, MMA, slap boxing, whatever you want to do, Gilbert's up for the challenge. I mean, he's got this whole little campaign going, you know, where he's saying, I know a guy, because he's ready to jump in a UFC heavyweight fight, or he's claiming to be. So it's a great thing to see, you know, jiu-jitsu fighters willing to step up out of their comfort zone, not just fighting MMA, but fighting jiu-jitsu, fighting in the gi, fighting in no gi. And, you know, if you really look at it, you know, Edwin's more of a gi guy. So this match more kind of favors Edwin. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it'd be very interesting to see. And Edwin, another guy, you know, super entertaining. He just fought on Spider. You can expect to see anything with that guy, flying triangles and, you know, some very slick passing. So I really like this match. I don't know who's going to win this, but I can't wait to see it go down.
Yeah, I got to agree. I just saw Gilbert train down at Fight Sports not too long ago, and yeah, it looked absolutely incredible. And yeah, I agree with Ricardo. Like, I definitely think Edwin has a little bit of advantage when it comes to the gi, but you know, Gilbert didn't look too bad at Polaris in the gi.
No, it's true. It's a close match. And Gilbert Burns is, you know, coming in great shape. So I'm excited for this one. Edwin had a tough match there at Spider against Mateus Gabriel, but he was never really out of it, and he showed really great defensive jiu-jitsu, actually. You know, Gabriel was very close to taking the back, and not many people would have been able to avoid the position as well as Edwin did there. Michael, what are you thinking about Gilbert Burns versus Edwin?
I got another pro making a couple picks in the comments. Malachi Edmonds in there. He's taking Hamilo and Dorino. And I'm going to agree with him on this one. I think Dorino on this one, just because, I think Dorino ends up on top one way or another, and I think he'll be able to pass pretty well on Edwin. I mean, Edwin's really struggled with Jaime a couple weeks ago with his guard. I but Edwin's so dangerous. If you shoot on him, you might get Darce. Edwin's got that triangle, but I would have to go with Dorino in this one. And I'm going with Gilbert for sure.
I think I like Edwin Najmi in this match because what you just mentioned there, the Darce, I feel like Gilbert is kind of old school. He's going to want to wrestle, which does give Edwin an entry there for his very dangerous Darce and Anaconda chokes. Plus, you never know, he might try some crazy triangle. Edwin is game for it. We saw him bust that out for the first time in a long time in that fight to win match against Jamie Canuto. Of course, he had to pay the price there when he got slammed pretty heavily, but I don't think that's allowed at Third Coast Grappling. In any case, a barn burner match. Very, very excited to see these two guys take to the stage there at Third Coast Grappling. Ricardo, did you give a pick, or did you just say you like them both? I didn't hear.
I like them both. It's a tough one for me. It's a tough one. I don't know, man. I've been watching Edwin compete since the blue belt. His game is just it's similar but different. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. In the beginning, Edwin was a really big footlock guy, and as well as flying triangles and stuff like that. But I seen a lot of maturity out there. Yeah, he was all flying triangles and stuff. But I'm seeing a lot of maturity out of Edwin lately, and I just hope that he doesn't reserve himself too much. Whereas a guy like Gilbert's just going to go for broke. So it's a tough one. I really don't know what to say. If I was going to throw my hand in the fire and put some money, I think maybe Gilbert, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'd like to see the flying triangle days of Edwin come back. I feel like flying triangle and Nicholas in that absolute final was like the worst thing he could have done, because then everybody's been looking out for it ever since. That's true. That was exciting when he was flying triangle and everybody at purple belt. That was great.
Yeah. The flying attacks are tough on the body, though, but we just mentioned them earlier, but Jamie Canuto is a guy at the black belt level who is really great at flying arm bars and flying triangles. I love watching him go at it, but I'm always terrified to do a flying triangle. I feel like if I land badly, that's the end of my day, and these guys got to compete again the week after, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I'm scared of it, man. I've almost knocked myself out just jumping close guard a few times. I'd probably break my neck trying to do a flying triangle. But you want to move on to Fight to Win?
Let's do that. You guys can watch Third Coast Grappling this Saturday. That's December 7th, live on FloGrappling. We'll be on the ground, so you won't miss a minute of the coverage. You'll know exactly what's going on there. And, of course, check the website for all the news, analysis, and previews we have coming up. But that's not the only event we have on Flo this weekend. Fight to Win has their very last show of 2019. That's 133 there, with a great main event between Ari Farias and AJ Agazarm. That's two of MMA's Jiu-Jitsu's best representatives in MMA going at it head-to-head in a submission-only match. Tell me your thoughts, guys. What are we thinking going into this main event?
I don't know, man. You haven't seen either one of them in a while, right? They've both been in MMA. This is a no-gi match, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's no-gi, and neither one of them's competed since 2018.
Yeah, and it's like my initial reaction was AJ. You'd think of him, he doesn't really go for a lot of submissions, but then when I looked at Ari's numbers on BJJ Heroes, Ari actually has a lower submission rate than AJ. And no-gi, obviously Ari's an MMA fighter, trains no-gi and wrestling all the time, but his no-gi accomplishments compared to AJ's don't really compare. From what I researched, I saw like a third place at no-gi Brasileiros compared to AJ, obviously a no-gi world champion and ADCC runner-up. But I think this one's probably going to go to a decision, and I don't know. I'm actually going to say, even though I think AJ is better at no-gi, I think in this rule set, Ari has the advantage. I see Ari maybe getting after some foot locks, leg locks or something and having more solid submission attempts.
Uncle Ricky, give it to me. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with Michael. I think that if this was IBJJF rule set, I think AJ would, have a better chance, with the wrestling, especially being able to get takedowns in Ari. I think he's a little bit better than takedowns. But as far as Fight to Win rule set, Ari's a very aggressive guy, and he's cut from the same cloth as a guy like Ronaldo Jacare. Literally, he came from the same academy in Manaus, and as Ronaldo Jacare, very aggressive fighter. And I kind of think that Ari is going to get the advantage here. Even though he doesn't do a lot of no-gi, he's been fighting in MMA for the last few years, so he's got some good MMA training. But, it should be tough because AJ is, by all standards, greatest jiu-jitsu fighter in MMA right now, guys. So this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough battle, but I think you guys are leaving out one key fact here, and that's experience. AJ has, I think, 5 or 6 matches at Fight to Win, a mixed record, but at the very least, he understands the way that the rules operate at Fight to Win. He knows the criteria required to take a win, either besides submission or what the judges are looking for.
Getting kicked off. Yeah, or getting a win by getting kicked off the stage. And
he's creative like that, Michael. He takes any opportunity. But I do think
it's a great strategy.
AJ, this is Ari's debut at Fight to Win, I believe, and that means that he might not be very used to the pacing of the match required. I mean, it's very different than a normal match, even a normal submission-only match. He could be positionally dominant, but if AJ throws up 1 or 2 decent submission attempts, that's enough to take the win. So I think AJ knows this, he's seen it, and could use that to his advantage there. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm looking at these guys' past matches, and either one of them for the past 7 matches that they've had have won on points. So I think that we can, expect that more of the same. And then, ultimately, I think AJ has an advantage just because he knows the game.
Sure to be a very close match. With submission only and 2 elite guys like that, sometimes it is so difficult to call because you never know who's going to come on top with a decision there. But that's not the only match.
There's some other decent ones. Sorry to cut you off, Chase. Which ones are you guys looking at here on this list? Which one? I really like Jake Watson versus Hibamar. I think that's a really intriguing matchup in the gi.
Yeah, Jake Watson becoming another exceptionally active athlete in jiu-jitsu. He was just on the Hawaii card there 2 weeks ago. And Hibamar is a silent assassin. He doesn't talk a big game on social media or anything, but he can beat anybody on the right day. And he is one of the most technical guards I've seen of late. I mean, he's really good with the lapel guard stuff. I think he even did like a worm guard armbar on Claudio Calzon's at Pans there. But he is one of the best athletes under the radar to keep an eye on. Ricardo.
Yeah, Hibamar is a great passer though too. Remember he passed Mauricio's guard at that Fight to Win in Denver.
Yeah, he's well-rounded, no doubt.
Yeah, he was telling me there that whenever he thinks somebody has a good guard, he likes to be on top and pass. He really likes the challenge of trying to pass. He actually, I mean, when I think of Hibamar, the same as you, I think of it just a great impassable guard. But he said he actually prefers passing. And I mean, Jake just recently got passed by Liera not long ago. And I mean, Hibamar's really having a great year. He beat Izaki, he beat Tinoco, he's been beating a bunch of guys, beat Mauricio. So yeah, I mean, Jake's coming on strong. It's his first year at black belt, but I got to take Hibamar here. I think Hibamar's setting up for a breakout 2020 as a black belt.
Yeah,
Ricardo.
I think Hibamar, he's had a lot of experience at the highest level of black belt, competing against some of the best and doing amazing against some of the best. Like you said, he's not really big trash talk or anything. He lets his fighting do, he's one of the nicest guys out there. Let's be real. And I'm always excited to see him. Actually trained at the same academy as him in Brazil, Manaus, Clube Pina. Big shout out to Mestre Pina. And Hibamar is just one of those guys, man. He's always there. He's always, on the top of the podium. He's always on the podium if he's not winning divisions. I think he's just got too much for Jake. I'll be honest, I haven't seen enough of Jake Watson to give you guys my 100% bet, but I'm kind of going with Hibamar on this one for sure.
Yeah, I got to say I like Hibamar as well. He's got such a well-rounded game, as Michael pointed out. And Jake Watson's still relatively new to the black belt ranks. I think he is poised.
Jake just beat Orlando.
Yeah, Jake's poised to do great things. I have not trying to diminish his talent. He's right there, but Hibamar is extremely experienced and also a veteran of Fight to Win. Mm-hmm. I think that really will carry him here.
Mm-hmm. There's Gabriel Souza's fighting Hiago George in a Nogi match, which they're both in featherweight at Nogi World, so that's, I guess, sort of a Nogi World's warm-up for him. But, I mean, this is an interesting one. Gabriel Souza just beat Hiago's teammate Paulo. I don't really associate Hiago George with Nogi stuff. Maybe he's just trying to get more into it. But he's a killer in the gi. I mean, he's won a bunch of big stuff in the gi. And him and Gabriel Souza have been going back and forth for a while. But that should be an interesting one.
I'm looking forward to Samir Santry taking on Lucas Pinheiro. That's another great matchup
fight
there. I believe it
Remember,
is.
Lucas just beat Joao under Fight to Win rules.
That's right. That's a very close match. Yeah, Joao Miao you're talking about there. Lucas Pinheiro kind of being another silent killer representing Atos Jiu-Jitsu. Another very, very talented young man. I think, is he fighting at Rooster at Nogi Worlds? Or no, he's in at light feather as well, and
Light feather,
Samir
yeah.
is
He's
in
been
at
doing light
feather.
feather.
So I guess that actually takes us right up into our next topic there. We have Nogi Worlds creeping up around the corner, man. That just slid right up on us. It's only next weekend, and shaping up to be a pretty fun event. Some key storylines include Taliesin Soares coming back to the United States here to compete again, making his IBJJF black belt debut, I believe. In the pretty stacked division there for Roosterweight. Actually, we have guys like Christian Woodmansee, Rodney Barbosa, who was the silver medalist this year at Worlds. What do you guys think about Taliesin's debut? Are you excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think he's ready to take over this Roosterweight division. I mean, this is something that Kyle basically used to run. Nogi Roosterweights, it's never too stacked, and I think it's waiting for somebody to come in and just start dominating it. And I think Taliesin's got a great Nogi game. He won as a brown belt last year. He set out to do the Nogi Grand Slam, which I hadn't even heard of anybody doing before, but he won Euros, Brasileiro, Pans, and Worlds as a brown belt at Nogi. He's a very good Nogi game. He's got underrated. I've seen people. He doesn't take people down, but he's got a great Nogi passing style, that Unity and Murillo Santana style of forcing half guard, smashing them, and just powering his way through. And I really think Taliesin is going to win this division.
Michael, you spent a good part of last year following Taliesin through the gi season. We made a nice film on it. Can you share a little bit of the insight that his preparation and his mindset is like? I mean, you only become that successful, I think, by extreme preparation. Were there any nuggets of specialization that he has, or something that he does a bit different than other people?
I don't know. He's just, I think the more time I spend around these top athletes, I think it's just the mental level, just the confidence, and just having a clear thought and focus, and just being in tune with everything. And I think he's got that. I think he's really sharp mentally, really hard worker. When I was working with him, I think he was like 18 years old. He was like the most professional 18-year-old I've ever met. And he's relocated to Australia, so I don't know what the training situation is like for him out there compared to when he was, bouncing around from Cicero's to Unity or whatever. But yeah, he's just a really tough kid. Incredible story. Left home at 15 with, just a pocket full of a little bit of money, and went to go live at Cicero's, thousands of miles away. And I'm really excited for him in 2020 to see how he does at Roosterweight at adult. I don't know who's going to be there, but at black belt, if Mikey's up at light feather, I could see Taliesin winning a whole bunch of stuff this year.
Yeah, that's definitely the match that I'm hoping to see is Taliesin take on Mikey at some point. Maybe it will happen. Who knows? We have the Cicero Costa Unity Mafia taking over at light feather. That
of course, yeah.
Jonas Andrade, Iago George, and Juni Edwin Ocasio are all in that division. But there are some other tough guys. Lucas Pinheiro, who we mentioned earlier, is in there. Richard Alarcon is signed up, but I don't know how his arm is going to be after Polaris. And either way, I'm kind of hoping Lucas Pinheiro shake things up. It's when there's one man versus a whole team, it makes it a little bit more exciting. But what is Unity going to do? I mean, they have so many guys now at black belt in these lightweight classes. What happens to them? Because are they just going to have a gentleman's agreement until someone gets heavier, or is someone getting screwed every year?
They have 6 out of 10. They have 6 out of 10 of the top. There's 6 of the top 10 ranked at light featherweight right now. So I don't know. Remember that's the weight where they closed out. They had all the semifinals and finals at Worlds this last year, and then they had Pato who come up. Pato grand slammed at brown belt at light feather last year. So now you got him coming in. You got Jonas is ranked at light feather, but I think we're going to see Jonas drop down to roosterweight, Jonas Andrade, and I'm hoping we see Paulo go up to featherweight and make some room for Pato at light feather. I'd like to see Paulo have some of these matchups at feather, and maybe get Pato get a chance at light feather with Joao and Iago George and those guys.
Ricardo, do you have any input there on how a team might split up its resources? I mean, you come from Atos, of course, and you have one of the most stacked rosters on the planet. Obviously, there's some competition there, trying to represent the team, carry the flag in these major tournaments. What are these guys supposed to do? How does this work?
I mean, traditionally what some of the big teams do is they'll make an A, B, and C team, right? And the A team will be called, whatever the main team name is. The B team will be called, whatever the affiliation is, and the C team might be called the country. And usually they'll kind of decide, the team leaders will decide amongst each other. And this isn't just an Atos thing. This is, this happens at Alliance, happens at all the teams.
Sure.
But normally
everyone.
What they'll do is they'll decide who, the best of the team. They'll go on the A team. The B team will be, sort of the guys that are just there, and the C team will be the guys that maybe just trying to make their breakthroughs. So, they always tend to figure things out amongst themselves, and I guess we'll know who their A guys is, whoever's representing the official team, right? So they'll figure it out.
Moving
but
along.
you're going to get to a tough situation there if you stick because this year they closed out in the semifinals. If you got too many of them, what are you going to do? You're going to close out in the quarterfinals, and then that guy's not even going to be on any. He's not going to get a medal. They're going to have to figure out something.
Yeah, every team's got its own way of dealing with this, so I guess we will find out next weekend.
You have to imagine, though, it does make for great training when everyone is the same size at roughly the same level. There's no shortage of challenges in the gym, so there's clearly a reason they're successful, but I guess it has this deficit as well where they cannot all compete at the same time as that goes.
Well, with them it gets tough. With them it gets tough, too, because they competed under different teams. Like, if you remember, because some of them compete as Unity, some of them compete as Cicero Costa. If you remember a couple years ago at Brown Belt Worlds, Wilson Moreira and Levi, they're teammates, but they had met like first or second round because one of them's Unity, one of them's Cicero Costa. So that could end up happening with Junie and these guys here. Junie and Jonas might end up getting matched up first round because they're technically different teams. You never know.
Moving right along then, as we got a few more divisions to preview here. At lightweight, we see some standout names. We have Johnny Tama is signed up. Natan Freitas or Natan Chung is also in there.
Chuang, yeah.
Chuang, is that how you say it? Got it.
Yeah,
and then Marcio Andre, previous Nogi world champion, is signed up. Currently 15 guys in that division.
Igor Rodriguez is tough. Atos Miranda is tough. Yeah, they got some good guys in there.
Any standouts in that division for you two out there? Anyone that you're looking to see?
Marcio Andre.
Marcio Andre's the man for you, Michael.
Sure. I think Marcio Andre takes that division, man. His Nogi game's so good. His guards, nobody's gonna pass his guard Nogi. I think he takes this one.
I also like to point out that there is another Lachlan from Absolute MMA Australia. That is not Lachlan Giles signed up. We got Lachlan John Warney, Warney. So don't be shocked if you're looking for Lachlan Giles. He's not going to be there.
You skipped over Feather. They got some good names. You got Samir Marangoni, Alex Sadre, Tom Halpin, Israel Souza, Cole Franson, Tiago Buj, Silvio Duran, Emilio Alejandro Hernandez Rodriguez. Remember, he beat Gianni at Nogi Pans and Gabriel Souza. So it's basically all good guys at Feather too. So I don't know who's going to win that one. But middleweight's the bracket right now, right?
Yeah, middleweight is definitely one of the most exciting brackets I've seen so far at Nogi Worlds. We have Dante Leon, Jamie Canuto, Tevye Souza is in there, Felipe Cesar Silva. I'm looking forward to Jefferson Guarz. How would you say this, Michael? Guarezi? The guy from Unity, Jefferson.
I don't know. Guarezi? I don't know.
Guarezi. He's a ADCC Brazilian Trials silver medalist, I believe, as a brown or purple belt when he did that last year.
I think he might have won Nogi Pans this year, too.
So he's definitely someone that could shake things up for me as a dark horse in that division.
Otavio Souza, man. Otavio Souza's tough. Jaime Canuto, even though he's normally known as a gi guy, but Dante is he's so strong right now in no-gi. Dante is coming into this with so much momentum. Felipe Cesar Silva, though, too. Felipe Cesar Silva's got a great no-gi game. Remember, he fought his way to the absolute final against Keenan at no-gi pans. Yeah, I think I'd have to go with Dante here, looking at these guys, just because, he's on such a roll. His no-gi game's just getting better and better. He's really tightening things up. But Dante versus Otavio Souza no-gi, I think, is that's the match I'm looking forward to at this tournament.
Yeah, we have Vinny Agudo here chiming in that he's looking forward to see Johnny Tama, who's got an improved no-gi game, take on Marcio Andre. I think that would be an awesome dream match that we might see happen there in the lightweight division. But Jamie Canuto, of course, spending some time down at Fight Sports ahead of Nogi Worlds. What do you guys think about that? He's a GF team standout, longtime member of that team, but you see him over in Miami now working with Cyborg and the guys at Fight Sports. Is that a good move for him? Is that the right choice to maybe sharpen those no-gi chops?
I think so. I think it's the right place. I think that Fight Sports and GF teams sort of had some interclub training recently. Patrick Gaudio was going there. I think it's the right place for Jaime. I think Jaime's passing is insane. He's just a really entertaining competitor. Of course, I did that breakdown on his Toriano style passing. You guys want to check that out on the website. But I want to see a new Jaime Canuto coming out of Fight Sports and see how he does there. Sorry, guys, I just want to mention one thing. Mark the Hammer Coleman is watching this on social media. So
That's
big
amazing.
shout out to the UFC
That is so
legend.
cool.
He said he's got the winner. Slamming is permitted at 3GC. He's a solid white belt, and he's excited to see Third Coast Grappling as well. So big shout out to Mark the Hammer
Oh, that's
Coleman.
amazing. Wow. Made my day, dude. That's so cool.
Where's he watching on? Is he on YouTube or Facebook right now? Where's he watching it?
I actually think he's on my watch party on my Facebook. So
Look at this
FloGrappling.
guy. Okay,
Wow.
Ricardo. I got it.
Ricardo
Friends in high
watch
places,
party, all right.
Ricardo. I understand. That's why we have you on the show.
Medium heavy's looking pretty good too. I'm excited to see Ronaldo Jr. Coming in there. Gabriel Almeida, Servio Tulio, Jake Watson, Lucas Hosha. I'd have to say Ronaldo's the favorite there, though. Ronaldo's very good no-gi. Ronaldo's won, I believe, no-gi worlds at brown belt, and he might have won it at purple belt. Not sure. He at least took second.
Ronaldo and Jake Watson have
Yeah,
a great rivalry there. I think Ronaldo's come out a bit more on top, but they always have a great scrap. I think we even posted actually their no-gi worlds match very recently on the front page of FloGrappling from their brown belt days. But I hope we get to see them run that one back. That's got to be tough, though, knowing that Ronaldo is in your division at every major tournament. That guy is an animal. I don't know if I'd look forward to fighting him every couple of weeks.
Just total animal. Just his pace, though. His pace is insane. Like he's one of the most exciting guys in the sport right now. He never stalls. He's always going after people. He's just breaking people down mentally because he just keeps that nonstop aggressive pace going, attacking until eventually he gets through the guard or gets on the back. And yeah, I love watching Ronaldo.
Heavyweight also features some key names there. We have Jackson Souza is back. Adam Warzinski has thrown his name in the hat. Felipe Trovo. Also see Devontae and Murillo coming in there, among other names. I'm looking forward to seeing Murillo back in action, man. I love watching his game. You know, he's got such an understated style, but his pressure passing is so technical, so perfect, and he can bring it to anyone, really. But out of those names, does anyone stand out to you guys for the heavyweight division there?
I think
if Murillo's on, it's Murillo. You know, he's done some really cool stuff with that. It's like a kind of new triangle that he's doing. He kind of hooks the far arm around the back, a la Michel Nicolini. And we've seen it a couple times. He did at Kasai Grappling. I've seen some other matches. I've been doing a little bit of study on Murillo lately, so I've been seeing that a little bit more and more. But he's once in a while he pulls out some new tricks, and of course we know he's got some insane pressure passing. So I think Murillo could take it if he's on.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Just looking at these guys stylistically, I think a lot of them are good matchups for Murillo. I mean, yeah, Murillo's got a great guard, X guard, closed guard in no-gi, but his passing, like I think Warzinski with his butterfly style. I mean, I think if he goes out there against Jackson or Helton Jr., these are the type of guys that Murillo matches up really, really well with. And I could even see Devontae and Murillo meeting up in the final and closing that one out for sure. But, I mean, you can't underestimate Jackson. He's won this event. Jackson's a beast. Warzinski's doing more and more no-gi, but I think Murillo matches up well with these guys. I would take Murillo at heavyweight.
What are your thoughts, Chase?
I gotta agree. You know, I said Murillo early, and I think he's a smart choice. Jackson Souza, you can never count him out. I feel like he's got that takedown advantage, and if you give him a little bit of space when you're playing guard, he can just blitz right by you. He's so athletic and fast. I think he should be a strong candidate, depending on how the brackets shake out to make the final. Adam Warzinski is another great name. You know, he's a European ADCC trials winner, and you know, if he's on his game, he's very, very difficult to deal with, both top and bottom. So, but for me, I think Murillo is a great choice. But of course, we're waiting on those brackets to really make an accurate prediction there. Let's move the show right along then onto super heavy. We've got Trator is present in there. That's Vinicius Ferreira. Tex Johnson is back in. James Popolo, Elliot Kelly, Arnaldo Maidana. A lot of great guys there. Anyone have any strong thoughts there?
Mike, I want to hear your prediction on this one, man.
Oh, Ryan's
Super
eager.
heavy?
Yeah.
Super heavy.
Super heavy. I think this is Trator all day. I think Trator is really doing well in no-gi. I mean, we saw him beat Panza in Vegas. We saw him beat Keenan at no-gi Pans, and then he fought his way through to take second at ADCC. He's training in New York under Marcelo now full time, and he's really coming on strong no-gi. He's really hard to score on. I mean, he's got that short stature for his weight. He's hard to take down. He's hard to sweep. He's a really smart tactical fighter. I mean, you got Tex in there who's registered as Fight Sports now. But I mean, I think Tex stylistically, I don't think he matches up too well with Trator. I think he would pull on Trator, and I think Trator doesn't put himself out of position. He's hard to get in on a leg entry on, and I think he's going to be able to pass on Tex for sure. But Puopolo's in there too. L.A. Kelly's in there. But I'm going Trator all day.
Sweet. Ricardo.
Yeah, I've been really, becoming a fan more and more of Trator, and his results are speaking for themselves. He's doing really good at the highest level. Silver medal at ADCC. That in itself, we can't overlook that. He's just
on
an
like
amazing
2 weeks'
job.
notice too. He was a very last minute,
Yeah.
maybe even less. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's training with
one week.
some of the. Yeah, I think Trator and Arnaldo Oliveira, another guy. Arnaldo's a beast as well. I'm looking at those two guys potentially to be in the finals, and tough one. I guess it all just depends on how the bracket rolls out, but I like those two. Those are two of my picks for the favorites of that division for sure.
I'm going to throw my
Somebody
hat in the
else
ring
to
here for Tex in this division. I think everyone focuses on his ankle lock, which is devastating. Make no mistake about that. But he's also got a very agile guard and is amazing at inverting for a big guy. He can really, recover guard quite well. And I think, Trator really favors that over-under pass. He's kind of like a mini Bernardo Faria, if you maybe want to extend the use of mini there to a big person. But I think that maybe Tex could counter that with a sneaky triangle attack. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But that's a fun division.
Somebody else to watch in this bracket is this guy, Marcelo Gomide. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I just say Gomide. But he's a newer black belt from Felipe Pena's school. And down at Belo Horizonte, and he won the Absolute at Nogi Euros, and I believe he might have done the same at Nogi Brasileiro. So he's in that division. He's somebody who's coming out really strong. Nogi, somebody to watch for sure.
Another dark horse there. The ultra heavyweight division only has 4 names signed up, but it's kind of a pretty badass division all the same. We've got Cyborg in there. Victor Hugo is in. And Vinny Magalhaes is also in there with a Damian Maya Jiu-Jitsu representative, Fernando Ribas, who I do not know. But those other 3 names are among Nogi royalty as far as I'm concerned. So what are you guys looking forward to in this match? Any particular matchups? I think Victor Hugo versus Vinny is a very exciting matchup there. Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Yeah, I watching Victor Hugo at ADCC did an amazing job. Some really nice elevation from the De La Hiva. Trying to get a little more familiar with leg locks for ADCC. We saw in his training, but he doesn't have to worry about that here. IBJJF, this is the rule set that he favors. I want to see that, And against Vinny, man, Vinny's one of these guys that he's been around ever since. He's got it all. He's got the total package: wrestling, flying triangles, leg locks. Should be interesting to see.
We just got a few minutes left.
Ricardo, who you picking? Who you picking in this one, Ricardo? At Ultra?
I'm not picking.
I think he likes them all, Michael. I think he likes them all.
I like them all, man. There's only 4, so yeah. I think Victor Hugo is gonna. No. I sorry to interrupt, but I think Victor Hugo is gonna show what he's really made of in this one. He's gonna really show that he belongs amongst some of the best black belts in the world. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Always excited to see him at black belt, so looking forward to it.
I'm going to go with Cyborg.
I think this is going to be a coming out party of sorts for Victor Hugo at the Nogi side of things. I think he's going to probably have to beat 2 ADCC champs to win it, right? Vinny and Cyborg, and I think Victor Hugo is going to pull it off and take it. But I mean, Cyborg just won that Las Vegas
heavyweight Grand Prix.
So.
Yeah. He won the heavyweight Grand Prix. Had a lackluster performance at ADCC, but
I don't know. He looked pretty good until he lost a very close match to Nicky Rod. But
yeah,
he didn't look terrible by any means.
No.
Yeah,
but the last time that Cyborg and Vinny faced off, I think was 2017 ADCC trials, and just put on a passing clinic. So I think he's gonna make a comeback, do really well.
Cyborg is always a smart choice. I'm liking Vinny, but it's hard to argue him above Cyborg. We'll see how it shakes out. Maybe Cyborg takes on Victor Hugo first, and you never really know how that match shakes out. So, or I guess we did see that at the heavyweight Grand Prix, but maybe Victor Hugo made some adjustments based off of that match and can turn the tide there. But we have just a few minutes left on the show. We should definitely touch a bit here on the women's divisions. They're still building.
A lot of good women.
A lot of good women there. The lightweight division is particularly stacked. We've got Nikki Sullivan, Kaká is in there, Nacheli Ribeiro, as well as a few other names, April Parks, etc. But any other divisions that really jump out at you guys from the women's ranks, Michael?
I like middleweight. You got Raquel Canuto. You got Gabby McComb. Gabby McComb's just a total savage, really aggressive. Amanda Lowen, the SBG girl, who has won Nogi Worlds, I believe, before. I remember her
she submitted Kaká with that crazy like standing spinning guillotine. It's like one of my all-time favorite photos.
Yeah.
She's completely lifted Kaká in the air and is like twisting her neck. It looks absolutely horrific, but it's a great submission.
At medium heavy is just 3 girls right now, but you got Veda Toscano, you got Julia Boscher, and then Tamara Ferreira. So that's 3 really good girls in there. I think the open class is shaping up to be pretty tough here. You got Jessica Flowers and Kendall Rusing at super heavy. You got Talita down at feather. You have the Raftery, Gabby Fetcher at feather, and Karen. Actually, listen to featherweight. Livia Giles and Talita Alencar, Heather Raftery, Gabby Fetcher, and Karen Antunes. That's the entire bracket. That's all the 5 girls.
That's all stacked. Yeah, they're all really tough women in that division.
Amanda Montero and Maisa at light feather and rooster. I think we're going to be looking at a really tough open class for the women at this tournament.
Well, there you have it. Those divisions can build out through Wednesday, I believe, is the cutoff for athletes to sign up for the IBJJF Nogi World Championships coming next weekend. We'll be on the ground in Anaheim, California, bringing you all the coverage from the scene, and I'm really looking forward to going out there. But do not forget, Gordon Ryan is back this weekend at Third Coast Grappling. We'll also be there in Houston. It's going to be a great time. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Who's Number One. It's been a pleasure. We're going to be doing the show again next Monday at the same time to account for travel to Nogi Worlds. Michael will be back in studio from Rio. Good luck with your travel there. Ricardo will still be in Canada. Good luck living there.
FloGrappling Tix, TIX, FloGrapplingTIX.com to get tickets to the live event. Go check it out.
All right, guys. Thanks for the show, and we will see you again next Monday. See you next time.